ways to make sure that you're hove to is you'll be pointing about 90 degrees away from where you're actually going. So in our case, our bow is pointing pretty much due east, and our course over ground, which is the way we're actually moving, is close to north. So we're pointing this way and we're just sliding sideways. So that's it. As we slide, what happens is the keel forms a slick of disturbed water to windward, and as waves approach that slick, they calm down. And then a breaking wave turns into just a big swell, and we just roll over it, and that's it. It's not so bad. If you, to like be able to visualize what this looks like, imagine you're at a pool or a beach or something, you put your hand in the water and you drag it through the water, and you get all those eddies like on the other side of your hand, as you, like in the wake of your hand. That's what the keel's doing. So this is why a full keel excels at this, because it's a bigger hand, so to speak. If you had a fin keel, it'd be the equivalent of like a finger going through the water. So you'll make a slick, but it's just not as intense. So that's pretty much it. So we're drifting through the water at about half a knot to 1 knot. Ideally you want to be anything less than 2 knots, because 2 knots you're going kind of fast. That's it. I'm just gonna wait this out for about 2 days.
Though it looks pretty mild in this footage, these waves were actually 13 to 14 feet. We were being tossed around quite a lot. And this image shows it a little bit more with the way the horizon goes back and forth. It's impossible to capture it on the camera. In the beginning here, it was wind powered about 25 to 30 knots, and that's what we expected to have for the majority of the storm. We had no idea that later on we'd be getting wind gusts up to 50 knots.
So right next to our boat, you see this calm slick of water. You'll see these big breaking waves coming in. When they hit it, they calm down. And that is the beauty of heaving to.
While these conditions weren't that horrible for sailing in, the reason we hove to is we were on a broad reach heading south, and then there was supposed to be this storm blowing due north for just a couple days, so we figured we'll heave to, we'll drift back just a few miles, but it'll be relaxed and easy.
So the stronger it blows, the bigger our slick gets and the more protection it offers us.
Today, I ate a food bar and an apple and I threw them up. I just ate a hot dog roll. So hopefully that'll stay. It's pretty miserable. Just feel trapped in here. And there's nothing we can do about it. And it's only been a day. So, just knowing that tomorrow's gonna be the same sucks. I took Bonine. I've been eating ginger chews. I think the Bonine has helped. So, yep. That's where we are.
Not gonna lie, this is pretty miserable. So we're hove to, it's blowing really hard and the sea's really big. Every so often we get a really big breaking wave that smashes onto the deck. But thankfully we are inside, we are safe, we are dry and warm. so that's a plus. But if we were at the helm trying to steer through this, we'd be physically miserable and mentally miserable. So it's a rough patch right here. So yeah.
I'm physically miserable.
Maddie's physically miserable. Maddie is very seasick right now and not having a good time. So it's currently 3 o'clock on Monday. This is supposed to continue until 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Wednesday. So, it's stuff we have to deal with. Once this passes, though, we're getting the heck out of here. And we're going as fast as we can to get to the Bahamas, because I think we've really earned it at this point now.
Well, we woke up the next day to the winds being 40 to 45 knots with gusts up to 50, and the waves were 20 to 30 feet high. And it doesn't appear to be that intense in the video, maybe, because the waves were extremely far apart. And when you're looking at them through the camera, you can't tell that we're gradually going up and down small mountains in the boat. It was pretty scary.
It is ridiculously rough right now. It's been like this for either 2 or 3 days. I can't really remember how long we've been like this. But it's going to be like this till the end of today. And which means Wednesday. Sorry, Tuesday. It'll be like this till the end of Tuesday. Wednesday it'll be calmer and blowing out of the west. And we're going to use that to our advantage because on Saturday or Sunday, another bigger and more powerful storm is going to be rolling through. And we are not going to be out here to be caught in that. No way in hell. So we're going to finish riding this monster out, and then we're going to head towards Beaufort or somewhere, and we're going to duck in. We're either going to anchor or tie up, but we're going to get somewhere that's safe, because this is just miserable out here.
On Wednesday, we finally got going. I crawled out of my sick little cave to come out and experience the outside a little bit, which I don't know if I ended up regretting, but it was certainly a stressful experience. Herbie was sailing just under the trysail, and we were going 6 to 7 knots. The winds were pretty steady at 30 to 35 knots. And we were looking at 15 to 20 foot seas. So I was terrified. Herbie was fine. But the important thing was that Wisdom was fine. Handled it like a champ. And we were never afraid for our lives. One thing that you have to keep in mind is that being in the cockpit, we were about 4 to 5 feet above sea level. So when the waves are coming up above our heads, it's very disturbing. And it's even more disturbing when you see a wave coming at you that's about the height of your spreaders. So luckily, we'd have these waves coming at us, and there goes a really high-breaking one that just broke into the cockpit. But we'd have these waves coming towards us, like this one here, and it would look like a monstrous mountain just moving towards us, and then Wisdom would just float gracefully on top of it, and then we'd be dropped like a roller coaster. So the whole ride was very invigorating. It's terrifying out here.
After being hove to for several days, our headstay got severely damaged and we were being pushed further out to sea. So when we got to be about 50 miles off the coast, I decided it wasn't safe to continue drifting further out into the ocean because we run the risk of bumping into the Gulf Stream and being carried way far off course. So under just the trysail to minimize the load on the headstay, we limped our way back towards shore. That way we could either sail into a safe harbor or be picked up by a towboat. That way we could come back and take care of the repairs.
We were so desperate to get out of this gale that Herbie ended up steering us through the night, sleeping on and off, sitting up, and being splashed by waves and rain and everything, while I struggled to sleep through the seasickness. So we had quite the miserable experience. But that, of course, was not the end of it.
So the past 4 days have been really bad. Pretty much the epitome of what we didn't want to happen.
No, we are hove to in a gale, and our headstay is broken.
Roger. Good news, everyone! The towboat that came out to get us is named Good News.
Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to become a sailing buddy, you can click the link down below to our Patreon account.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And when you click subscribe, make sure you click on the little bell in the annotation. That way you get notifications as soon as our next video is uploaded.
Thanks so much!